ladies and gentlemen, welcome all back to the channel. Welcome to the desert. Hope you're all doing fine. As today, guys, we have a special guest on the channel. Who is that, you might be asking? Andrea Tate, Think Before You Sleep, Taylor the Fiend? No, guys. It's female Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, right here in front of all of us. So let's see what she has to say. And then for our article story, a guy basically ignores like 200 red flags. So we're going to take a look at his story. But now let's get started.
Being with my husband makes it really hard for me not to tell my friends, like, you should just leave him, because my expectations now are so high. Like, your boyfriend gets mad at you for wearing certain things. I could cause irreversible damage to my home, my husband's car, and he'd say, it's okay, it was an accident. The only time he's been upset with me in like a while is when I surprised him with a second cat who ended up being pregnant, and now we have 10 animals in our home. And even that was just like, really, honey? Like, lots of huffing and puffing, but never any harsh words. And if they're arguing over big decisions, I'm like, why don't you just tell them that you feel really uncomfortable about that? And they're like, you don't think I've tried? That's literally all it would take for either one of us to be like, okay, if this makes you uncomfortable, we won't do this.
All right, so Ampu, can you please hit the gong for probably the biggest simp we've had on the channel for a very long time. We have this beta man over here, guys, that cannot get upset about anything. She is the dominant one in the relationship. Does she respect him? No. Will she cheat on him? Maybe. Now, with her face, you can be a bit more calm about the fact that she's not going to cheat with that face, but the danger is still there, right? Basically, first chance she gets, she'll cheat on him. Doesn't respect him at all, and she's only with him because it's convenient, because he is a dog on a leash. But talking about dogs, guys, let's move on to this witch, and let's see what she has to say.
Let me give you an example of what it looks like to be married to a competent and capable man who gives a shit. I came home last night to find the entire house had been cleaned. Our Bath & Body Works candles that he ordered had come in, had been lit. The rest of our Christmas decorations had been put up, adorably, by the way. And he had gone and got new Christmas stuff for our boys' bathrooms and put it out after he cleaned it. That's him cleaning the toilet. I also didn't ask him to do any of this. I didn't make him a list of things to do. I didn't leave it out for him. I didn't request that any of this be done. I simply went to work. I came home, and my husband had acted like a completely competent and capable adult who gives a shit about his family, who takes care of his house, who cares about how it looks, and likes to also equitably participate in making Christmas magical for our...
So equitable means doing 100% of the job. She's going in there, it's all said and done. Oh, this is what it means to be equitable. Very convenient. Also, guys, look, I'm all for it, helping your significant other, whether that be a wife or a husband. I'm all for it. I'm not particularly strict on the gender norms, even though I think this is not a men's work. Traditionally, and you may call me old-fashioned, but when the fridge needs moving, you don't see a woman doing it, right? So I don't think this is particularly something that men should be expected to do. But even so, you're just helping. She maybe had a longer shift. I don't think so, but I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to be polite and nice, or maybe he was trying to get some bedroom fun after 2 months of dryness, you know? I don't know what the reason may be. The problem I have with this is where she says, well, my husband is a competent grown adult. That's what I have a problem with. You know why? Because there's 1,200,000 likes on this post. Now, I can guarantee you, I can bet my ass that above 80% of the women liking this video are not, in fact, grown adults, all right? They'll create problems out of thin air. They won't be willing to put in their weight when it comes to doing things for the relationship, doing their part. They won't behave emotionally or psychologically like grown adults, yet they're liking this video because they want a man who is both a provider and a man who cleans the whole house when he comes back from work, and a man who doesn't leave his socks in places they don't like. All right? So I am against that. Talking about grown, competent adults, why don't you start fulfilling that part. Because men, wherever we may leave our socks, at least in the other departments, especially the mental / psychological one, we are the adults. But anyway, what do you think about this one, guys? Let's move on to a third one, talking about socks. Let's see this woman. I'm gonna pull the video up for no apparent reason at all. Wow, tight knits. But she has something to say, guys. Let's hear her out.
The reason why the percentage of people getting married has gone down is because people are living together before getting married, and women are realizing how much of a disadvantage this is to their lifestyle. Okay, let me show you what it was like living with a man. I lived in this apartment for 1 year with a man, okay? Every day he would get home from work, he would sit on the bed, take off his socks, and he would put them right there. Now, I don't know if you're as blind as he is, but that is my laundry basket. And every day he put his socks right there. Okay, so every morning I rolled out and I automatically reached for those socks and put them here. So one day when I got back home from work late at night and I saw the socks for the millionth time, I took the laundry basket and I hit him as hard as I could, right? And it's just like, then I was called crazy. You know, and I haven't dated a guy since because I don't know how to explain that to another man without going insane.
All right, so a couple things to mention here. First off, you see that sarcophagus behind me, gentlemen? Well, I put my socks right in front of it, all right? Just don't care, fight me, don't care, couldn't care less where I put my socks. But moving on to more important things. Editor, please. More important things than where I put my socks is, look, I get it, it's frustrating. I don't think a 30-year-old grown-ass woman should be telling a 30-year-old grown-ass man where to put his socks, alright? I don't think that's what needs to happen. I get it how it's frustrating, you know, you say something 35 times and he still doesn't remember. I get it, I really do. But ask men, ask any man watching this right now, what would you prefer? The type of problems you have to deal with in regards to women, or for your woman to leave the socks in a place you don't like, all right? And I can guarantee you, all men watching this right now will say, oh, Hidan, that's an easy one. I would rather my wife / girlfriend / woman I've been with leave their socks, I don't know, wherever it may be, inside the fridge, I don't care, rather than having to deal with her you know, childlike attitude and her being bitter and her being nagging and her being annoying and her being microaggressive and her being a pain in the ass, all right? So again, that's my problem. I do understand you ladies, you don't want to feel like a mother. I get it, I get the whole thing. Women are quite big dumbasses with the socks things, or maybe not seeing things that are right in front of our very eyes. I get it. But then think a bit about yourself, all right? You're not easy to deal with either. In fact, I will say you are like 5 times more annoying on average. So again, you're not perfect, ladies, especially this one. Stop trying to put all the blame on men, especially for ordinary things like where does he leave his socks. But anyway, gentlemen, let's move on to one last one. Where do you leave your socks now that we're talking about it so much? Let's cover this one, woman.
I am a 25-year-old single woman living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with her dog, a Chihuahua. I pay every fucking bill in this apartment, rents, electricity, water, heat, whatever, everything by myself.
Ooh, guys, can I get a round of applause? Bravo, bravo. This woman is paying her own things. Wow, it's such an accomplishment. They grow so fast, don't they? Also, this hand gesture that she has right here, massive red flag, all right? This right here is a massive red flag. I've never seen a woman having this hand gesture that doesn't happen to be a massive beach with capital B. But now, let's continue.
Myself. And y'all hoes got the nerve to think I'm gonna let a man who is doing the absolute bare minimum, can't even buy a hoe some flowers, to destruct all this peace? Find God. So,
a lot of red flags, of course. She is single at that age, which she shouldn't be. She eats while recording. She has a chihuahua, guys. That is another red flag, alright? Women that have chihuahuas, red flags. I don't think the dog itself is a red flag. It's just the fact that a woman has him, right? The dogs on themselves, little hell spawns, you know, I don't have a problem with them. Just leave them be. Manifestations of Satan's hate. Just leave them be in hell where they spawn, where they live, and you know, and then growl all day thinking about how they want to subdue the world. It's alright, they can exist. I have no problem with chihuahuas on their own. But again, when a person owes them, out of all the dog breeds, you really had to go for that one, really? Now that just telegraphs me you have some mental instability that needs therapy. But gentlemen, let's move on to our article story now, that is titled, Dumped via text after 4 months of dating. Girl I've been seeing, 28 female, just jumped me, 26 male, over text. Just dumped me, 26-year-old male over text during lunch break at work. Finding it really hard to keep going at this point. You know, guys, in my 4,000-year-old life, I had this one period where I got dumped after 3.5 years of a relationship via text message while I was in another city. It's part of my dark past I don't want to share, but anyway, honestly, the signs were there all along, and I willfully ignored them. She didn't text me very often skirted plans with lame excuses. She's banging some other dude. This means she constantly talked about how I was so much younger than her, and worst of all, I brought up being exclusive after about a month in, and she said no. But kept me on the hook, saying it could develop into it later, and that she quote-unquote really liked me. Alright, now I've done many embarrassing things in my life, but this one you won't see me doing. You ask a woman to be exclusive and she says no? Hell no. Hell no. Yeah, right, stupid, continues the guy. But I held on because we had a good rapport and she was really pretty, and I desperately need somebody to love me. This is sad, but look, I get it. I'm gonna comment on that later. Because romantic love has been the only fulfillment I've ever gotten out of life for some reason. Recently, I had felt her pulling away, texting even less often, giving dry responses, etc. Very different from the interest she showed when we first started dating. I should have broken things off the second she said no to exclusivity the first time around, but I ignored the blatant red flag and got my heart broken again. At least I am happy this guy realizes how big of a dumbass he was. I wish I knew why I'm not good enough for any of these people. Oh, it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. You're a wonderful person and you deserve someone who can give you what I can't, is what these women apparently say. Bullcrap. You told me you were looking for a long-term relationship, and you probably actually are. So just tell me what it is I did wrong so I can improve for the next person. If I had to guess, it's probably because I'm poor. I live in an expensive city, so all the girls make good money, and I don't even have a car. I can almost guarantee that if I had a good career, she'd be singing a different tune. The moral of the story is when someone tells you who they are, believe them and trust your gut with how someone treats you no matter what they say. Talk is cheap. Alright, so guys, I want to focus on this thing right here. Again, you let me know what your opinions are. But this part right here. This man desperately needed somebody to love because romantic love is the only fulfillment in his life. This is a very wrong approach. Women will notice that. You know how they say that dogs can smell fear, or wasps smell fear, or some animal. In the same way, women, they smell desperation, and they don't like it. If, as a man, you don't respect yourself in the first place, you'll never find a woman that will respect you back. Right? So it's the most important thing for a man to have respect, to win achievements, you know, to be a warrior, to fight, to, you know, stick to his guns and all those other things. So I understand why men go through this. Maybe this guy didn't have a father, maybe he didn't have a mother, maybe he was bullied at school, maybe he has some other type of childhood drama. I get all of that, I really do. But as a man, you cannot afford it. You simply cannot afford it. But Hidar, I really can't help it. well, then you're going to be single forever. You have to help yourselves, gentlemen. Nobody is going to help you. You're not women, all right? Nobody will step in. When men see women with these sort of problems, like, you know, personality-wise, some problem, maybe lack of confidence, their first response is, oh, I'm going to save her. As a man, nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to think that of you. Nobody cares about you other than your mother and maybe your best friend, all right? Nobody does. So you have to get yourself out of this hole. I know it's hard, and I know sometimes, in fact, most times, it doesn't simply take to say, all right, I'm going to get myself out of it. No, it's a hard process. Maybe you've really had a hard life and it will take years. But you won't find a woman that is going to be with you unless you do those things, all right? You may find women here and there. They are going to leave 100%. I can guarantee you. The moment they realize how desperate you are, they're going to leave. Women don't want men who are desperate about love. So that's my advice. Again, I know it's hard. I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, you just have to get yourself out of that hole that maybe your parents or society or culture or that one bully at school put you through for the last 10 years of your life. It's easy for me to say, but I think that all men, to a certain degree, we have been through this. We have to help ourselves, you know? Nobody is going to step in. Nobody is going to fix us. So we either fix it ourselves or we're just going to be broken people. But anyway, gentlemen, that's my take. What is yours? Let me know down in the comments. And please like and subscribe because it really does help the channel. You can find my Patreon down below if you want to keep this channel going. And I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one.